she scoffed. It's just a white lie. When I found out she faked a family emergency to go to a festival with her criminal ex. I said, I see. Then called her parents to offer my deepest condolences. The call she got from her furious father 5 minutes later was only the beginning. I, 34M, used to believe that honesty wasn't about the big things. It's about the small, boring truths. The I'll be late from work, or I don't like your friend's cooking. Those are the kind of things that build trust brick by brick. My girlfriend, Marissa, 29F, believed the opposite. To her, white lies were social glue. I used to think it was harmless. The way she'd tell her boss she had a dentist appointment when she just needed a break, or how she'd say she was 5 minutes away when she hadn't even showered yet. I thought it was cute, normal, until it wasn't. We'd been together for 2 years. She was smart, witty, and charismatic, the kind of person who made you feel like the room got brighter when she walked in. Everyone liked her. My family adored her. But lately, something had shifted. She'd become distracted, distant, always glued to her phone, smiling at something she'd explain later. I didn't push it. I trusted her, mostly because I wanted to. Then, one Friday afternoon, she told me she had to drive upstate because her aunt had collapsed. She said it so quickly I almost didn't catch the details. Hospital's 2 hours away. I'll stay overnight. Don't wait up. Her voice cracked when she said it. Not from emotion, from overacting. Still, I nodded. Of course. Text me when you get there. She hugged me. Too tightly. Too long. That night, I sat on the couch with my laptop, absent-mindedly scrolling. Something nagged at me. The way she'd thrown that bag together. The way she'd grabbed her phone charger, but forgot her toothbrush. And then, purely by accident, I opened Instagram. There she was. Not on her profile, but on her best friend Tessa's story. A photo of Marissa in the passenger seat of a car, laughing, sunglasses on, holding a Red Bull. Caption: road trip. Musical notes, son. I stared at it for a good minute. The background wasn't a hospital. It was the open highway, heading south, not north. I checked the location tag. Sunfield Music Festival, 2 hours away. And in the corner of the next clip, I saw him. Her ex. Travis. I didn't need to zoom in. That tattoo on his forearm, the one she once swore she hated, was unmistakable. Travis had been arrested 2 years back for assaulting a bar bouncer. She'd told me she was done with him forever. Apparently, forever ended with an early bird ticket and a fake family tragedy. I didn't throw my phone. I didn't scream. I just sat there, perfectly still, while my mind replayed her voice. She collapsed. Something in me went very quiet. It wasn't anger, not yet. It was the kind of silence that happens right before a surgeon makes the first incision. I opened her contact info, scrolled down to mom and dad. They were good people. I'd met them several times. Her father, especially, old-school military type, polished, principled. The kind of man who still sent handwritten thank you cards. So I called. Her mom picked up first, cheerful as always. Hey, sweetie. Everything okay? I took a breath. Hi, Mrs. Rayner. I just wanted to check in. Marissa told me she rushed to the hospital for her aunt. I wanted to offer my condolences. There was a pause. Then her mom said, confused, hospital? What are you talking about? Her aunt's fine. We just had dinner with her yesterday. I smiled. Oh, that's strange. She said there was an emergency. I could hear the frown form on her mother's face. 1 second, she said sharply, and I heard her calling, Greg, pick up the other line. Do you know where Marissa is? I hung up before he did. 5 minutes later, my phone lit up with a new message from Marissa. WTF did you just do? My dad just called me screaming. Why would you say something like that? I typed back one sentence. I see. Then I put my phone face down and went to make dinner. It's strange how calm you can be when someone betrays you that completely. Like your mind can't even process the explosion. So it just watches the flames from a distance. Half an hour later, she called. Once, twice, 7 times. I didn't answer. At 9:04 p.m., she texted again. I'm coming home tomorrow. We need to talk. I just replied, don't rush. And then I blocked her number. Not out of anger, but because I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of explaining a lie I'd already understood completely. When she finally showed up 2 days later, she was shaking. Her father had driven to the festival after she hung up on him. Apparently, he'd confronted her in front of Travis, in front of her friends, in front of everyone. She didn't go to work for a week. Her dad told her to figure her life out. Her mom texted me an apology. Marissa stood at my door, eyes red. I made a mistake, she said. I nodded. You did. She waited for me to shout, to cry, to demand answers. Instead, I just stepped aside and handed her the small box I'd packed her things into. No words, no speeches. She tried to speak again, but I just said, "It's okay. You don't need to lie anymore." And I closed the door. That night, I sat on the couch again, in the same spot as before. Same silence, same phone on the table. But this time, the quiet didn't hurt. It felt earned that I didn't expect her to disappear that completely. For weeks after she left, there was nothing. No texts, no calls, no attempts to explain herself through mutual friends. Just silence. But silence, I've learned, is rarely peace. It's usually the sound of damage settling. 2 months later, I found out what that damage looked like. It started with a message from Tessa. Yes, the same friend who'd posted that festival story. She'd always liked me, I think. Or at least, respected me. She sent a single text. Hey, you probably don't care, but you should know Marissa's life kinda imploded. I didn't reply at first, but curiosity wins over even the calmest people. So, after a pause, I wrote, "What happened?" Apparently, when her dad found her at the festival, it didn't end with yelling. It ended with him taking her car keys and publicly telling Travis to stay the hell away before dragging her back home. Someone filmed part of it. It made its way onto TikTok. Not viral, but enough for people at her office to see. Her boss wasn't amused. She'd called in that weekend claiming she had a family emergency. He'd granted her paid leave. Then someone forwarded the video. She was suspended. And Travis? He was arrested again, this time for unpaid fines and an altercation at a gas station during that same weekend. So while she was fighting to save her job, he was sitting in county jail. I didn't smile when I read that. I thought I would. Instead, I just sat there, staring at the screen, and felt tired. Because revenge, even when it's unintentional, doesn't heal anything. It just confirms what you already knew, that the person you loved was capable of choosing chaos over you. Tessa told me Marissa had moved back with her parents for a while. She's been different, she wrote. Quieter. Keeps saying she just wanted a break from everything. A break. That word made me laugh, softly, into my empty living room. A break is what honest people ask for before they destroy trust. Not after. Months passed. Life became simple. I'd wake early, run by the lake, work from my home office. I stopped checking my phone for notifications that would never come. I even started seeing someone casually. Anna, a graphic designer who lived 2 buildings over. She was kind in a quiet way. No fireworks. No games. For the first time, I realized how easy a relationship could feel when truth didn't need to be constantly defended. Then, one afternoon, Marissa's name appeared in my inbox. No subject line. No attachments. Just a short email. You didn't deserve how I treated you. I know you think I'm selfish, and maybe I am, but I lied because I didn't know how to admit I was bored, not unloved. You were good to me, and I still destroyed it. You probably hate me, but I just wanted to thank you for calling my parents. You saved me from something I couldn't see clearly. I'm sorry. I read it twice. Then a third time, and I realized I didn't hate her. Not anymore. Because hate still needs energy, and I'd already spent enough of mine on her lies. I never replied. Not because I wanted to leave her hanging, but because there was nothing left to say. The version of me who needed answers, who needed closure, didn't exist anymore. He died the night she said, "It's just a white lie." A few weeks later, I ran into her mom at the grocery store. She looked embarrassed, fumbling with her cart, unsure whether to say hi. I nodded first. "Mrs. Rayner, how have you been?" She smiled, relieved. "We're okay. Marissa's doing therapy. Working part-time now. She talks about you sometimes." I nodded politely, offering the same small smile I'd give a stranger. "That's good," I said. "I'm glad she's getting help." Her mother's eyes softened, the kind of expression only parents can have when they see someone who once loved their child, and they know you probably love them better than they deserved. She squeezed my hand before she left. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for being kind even when she wasn't." That night, I sat on my balcony again. Same spot, same view, different man. And I realized something. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's understanding. When you understand someone completely, their motives, their fears, their lies, you stop needing them to be punished. Because you finally see them not as a villain, but as a warning. A warning of what you'll never accept again. Update 1. It's been almost a year since everything ended. A calm year. A clean one. I'd moved to a new place, closer to the lake, smaller but brighter. Anna and I had become serious. Not fast, not dramatic, just solid. She was the kind of woman who made silence feel full instead of empty. Work was going well. I'd gotten promoted. Ironic, really, considering how small I used to feel next to someone who once said I was too predictable. Turns out, predictability builds empires. Chaos destroys them. Then, one evening, as I left the office, I saw her. Marissa. She was standing outside the cafe across the street, holding a paper cup with both hands, hair tied up, no makeup. She looked ordinary, human. And for a second, my chest tightened, not from love, not from anger, but from memory. She saw me too. Our eyes met for maybe half a second before she walked toward me. Hey, she said softly, almost like she wasn't sure if she had the right to use the word anymore. Hey. We stood there in the cold air, the kind of silence that used to mean something, now just a formality before goodbye. She smiled nervously. You look good. Different. I nodded. I could say the same. She looked down. I've been sober for 6 months. Therapy helped. I'm glad to hear that. Her eyes flicked up to mine, searching for a reaction that wasn't there. Then she said it, the line that always comes at the end of stories like this. I just wanted to say thank you for how you handled everything, for not making it worse. I nodded again. I didn't need to. You already had enough people doing that. She laughed softly, a tired sound. Yeah, I guess I did. There was a pause. The city moved around us. Cars, laughter, life. And for the first time, I realized we were no longer part of each other's story. She looked at me like she wanted to ask something, but stopped herself. Anyway, she said finally, I'm sorry for bumping into you. Just wanted to say that in person. It's okay, I replied. I hope you're doing better. I'm trying. Good. As she turned to leave, she hesitated. Then, almost under her breath, she said, You know, I used to think you were boring. But now I think you were just peaceful. And I wasn't ready for that. I didn't say anything. Because what could I say to that? She smiled sadly. Take care, okay? You too. I watched her walk away. Not with longing, not with bitterness, but with the same quiet relief you feel when you finally realize the storm has passed for good. And that was it. No dramatic apology, no rekindled flame. Just two people who shared a life once, acknowledging that one of them had grown while the other had learned too late. That night, Anna found me on the balcony again. She handed me a cup of tea, leaned against the railing beside me, and asked, Rough day? I shook my head. No, just a full circle kind of day. She smiled, warm and sure. Those are the best kind. I looked out over the lake, the city lights reflecting on the water, calm, steady, predictable, and realized I'd finally learned the difference between peace and silence. Peace means you're done waiting for the next storm. Final update. It's strange how life circles back when you've already stopped looking. A few months after that brief encounter with Marissa, I got an email from someone named Evelyn, the HR manager at a mid-sized marketing firm. She wrote, Hi, this might be an odd question, but do you have a few minutes to chat about someone applying for a position here? She listed you as a reference. I almost didn't reply. I assumed it was a mistake. Then I saw the name at the bottom. Marissa H. For a second, I just stared at it. Not angry, not smug, just surprised. I hadn't thought about her in months. But now, here she was again, accidentally asking me for a character reference. I sat back in my chair, exhaled slowly, and thought about what to do. The old me, the one who stayed quiet, the one who took the blame for everything, would have ignored it. But the version of me who'd survived, healed, and rebuilt, he believed in truth. So I called Evelyn. She sounded warm and professional. We exchanged pleasantries before she asked, So, how would you describe Marissa as a person? I paused, not to dramatize, just to make sure I didn't speak from old wounds. Then I said, Marissa is creative, charming, and confident, but she struggles with honesty. When she's scared, she lies, even when she doesn't have to. And those lies have consequences, both personally and professionally. There was silence on the other end. Then Evelyn sighed quietly. Thank you for your honesty, she said. That actually aligns with some things we noticed. We hung up. A week later, Marissa texted me. Short, direct. I listed you as a reference before realizing it might reach you. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry if that put you in an awkward spot. I didn't reply, not because I was angry, but because there was nothing left to say. Sometimes silence isn't punishment. It's just peace choosing not to explain itself. A few nights later, I sat with Anna on the balcony again. She was telling me about a new project she was leading, her hands moving as she spoke, full of energy, light, and everything I used to think didn't exist in love. And somewhere mid-sentence, I caught myself smiling, not at her story, but at how still I felt inside. That kind of stillness doesn't come from revenge or closure. It comes from finally knowing you didn't need either. Last week, I heard through an old coworker that Marissa moved back in with her parents. Apparently, things hadn't worked out. The job, the friends, the freedom she once said she craved. I didn't feel joy hearing it. I felt something better. Detachment. There's a quote I read once. Sometimes you win by never playing again. I think that's what this was. Not a victory. Not revenge. Just freedom. So if you're reading this and you've ever been lied to, betrayed, or made to feel like you weren't enough, let me tell you something. You will be fine. You'll find someone who doesn't mistake your calm for boredom, your kindness for weakness, or your honesty for naivete. And one day, when your past walks by, whether in the form of a person, a memory, or an email, you'll smile. Not out of bitterness, but because you'll finally understand. You didn't lose them. You just outgrew them.